Good morning. Welcome to Mornings with Michael for information and educational purposes only. Your responsibility to do your own due diligence. Let's get to our word of the day. Con, easy for me to say. Convivial. Um, Convivial, friends, lively, and enjoyable. The housewarming party's atmosphere was convivial and welcoming. There is our word of the day. Let's go to our heat map. With the market having a half day, it is, I believe, officially closed. So this is our heat map. Amazon retracing a little bit. Tesla continues to charge forward. NVIDIA had a good day along with Broadcom. And we have a few other semiconductors moving on up. Energy is bouncing back. And we had a mixed bag in the financials. So that is a quick look there. If you're concerned about anything at all resembling 2008, 2007, where the market turned a 401k into a 201k and the market went down 54%, and you don't think you have long enough runway to win back on that, well, this is a great place to put your money. It goes up the step when the market goes up, and it does not go down. So that is a story. My mom is calling me, so I'm going to put us on pause. Yes, that was my mother. She wanted to check on a few of her equities, so I looked that up for her. This is the dollar. It pulled back to its 20-day moving average, down 0.34%. Silver, I would think, would be bouncing. Pause. Yes, silver is gapping up today on the pullback in the dollar. Look at gold. Gold is bouncing as well, up 1.21%. Take a look at copper. One of our favorite copper miners is up today. Copper, big gap up, cleared the 20-day and almost got to the 10-day. Arrow made a big move today, had some good volume. See if our internet is a little choppy today. Yeah, gapped up and it's in the middle of the range, 3.68%. Tech gaps up, gets above the 50-day moving average, up 3.23%. We're just going to skip looking at anything else right now in the copper area anyway. This is the 10-year bond yield. It's pulling back to the 50-day moving average, down almost 1%. Take a look at the 10-year, actually 20-year now. PBT is the ticker symbol. It is gapping down. So it is filling the gap here. It gapped up a couple of days ago, and now it's filling that gap down 2.56%. Look at the volatility, your VIX index. Picking up a little bit, up 0.5%, up to 1209. It has really fallen to pretty low levels right here. The S&P 500. It's trying to clear the blue box or the pivot area. RSP equal weight in the S&P 500. And it's up 0.04%, pretty flat. See if QQQ will come up. NASDAQ just continues rising. You can just see this kind of channel over here. And it's broken out of this little flat channel that was kind of hugging the 10-day moving average. See what the QQE or equal weight is doing today. The equal weight is pulling back quite a bit, pulling back to the 50-day moving average. That's pretty interesting, down 1.66%. See if the small caps are rebounding any. So the small caps did rebound yesterday a little bit and up today. Nothing to really write home about. It's up only 0.2%. Here's the Dow Jones, pretty flat, up 0.05%. So that's a look and a roundup there. Let us go to consumer news. Rivian last night denied media reports that said it was in early talks with Volkswagen to extend their partnership beyond recently announced software joint venture. And it's looks like it's pulling back a little bit, but shows that it was up about 5% today, 0.7. On to Tesla. Tesla shares rise today, adding to the prior day 10% advance after monthly EV delivery data as analysts raise their price target, comes into the day with now it's a 7-day winning streak. So Alaska Airlines flight attendants are set for an average pay increase of 32%. Wow. As part of a new 3-year tentative labor deal with the airline, a union representing the employees said. That is amazing. American Petroleum Institute reported U.S. crude inventories decreased by 9.2 million barrels last week. And Vitol Group purchased 2 liquefied natural gas bunkering vessels and secured another on a long-term charter. Market Access announced trading volume and preliminary variable transition fees per month for June. In the second quarter, said quarter 2 delivered 12.4% growth in total credit ADV, driven by strength in the U.S. high grade of 13%, emerging markets 23%, municipalities 34.2%, Euro bonds 8.3%. So that is the story with them. And their stock is up slightly today, up 3.9% after a long downtrending. Let's go to Repay. Announces offering $260 million in convertible notes. See if Repay will come up here. Repay is gapping down. They are bouncing off of the 200-day line, but it is down 7% today. Aslan Pharmaceuticals announces plan to implement adds ratio change, plan to change ratio of ADS to its ordinary shares to one ADS representing 200 ordinary shares. Effective ratio change on ADS trading price on the NASDAQ capital market is expected to take place on the opening trading of July 3rd, which is today. And they are up 13 cents, nearly 6% on the day. Avid Bio Services, Q4 adjusted EPS loss of 7 cents versus estimate 4 cents. Stock sold off initially, and they are now up nearly 18%. That must have been an interesting call for them to be up that much today. CureVac shares soared in pre-market trading after the company ceded full rights to its influenza and COVID-19 RNI vaccine candidates to GlaxoSmithKline, part of a strategic restructuring and cost-cutting effort. The stock initially moved up and then sold off 4%. On to technology, media, and telecom. Paramount Global shares rise after hours yesterday after the Wall Street Journal reported Skydance Media had reached a preliminary agreement to buy Sherry Redstone's family company National Amusements and merge with Para on Paramount Global. Skydance will pay $1.75 billion for the National Amusements as part of the deal. Got a gap up. It did close below the 50-day moving average, up 7.28%. So Charter downgraded to sell from neutral at Citigroup and cut the target to 255 from 280, and their stock only went down marginally. DOYU International Holdings declares a special cash dividend of $9.76 per share. See if DOYU comes up here. Here's DOYU up almost 40%, up 40% on the day. Stock went up $5, really broke out right over here when it went up to 1139, and it is just continuing its run. Nano Dimension and Desktop Metal have entered into a definitive agreement under which Nano Dimension will acquire all outstanding shares of Desktop Metal in an all-cash transaction of $5.50 per share. Nano Dimension is up 16.2% on the news, and Desktop Metal will be with us shortly. It is up 18.75%. So there you have it. Desktop Metal, I think it was in 2020, was a big mover. And finally, the EU moles closing off import duty exemption, potentially impacting Shein, Temu, Bloomberg reported. So that's our news for the day. Let's go check in with our daily routine. What's up 5% and 100% increase in volume. American Semiconductor is number one. Pull back to its 20-day moving average and is up 7.8%. It's pretty good volume. Cardassian Therapeutics, RNAC, is up $1.85. Really sold off and is getting a little bit of a bounce, up nearly 12%. Century Aluminum, which was number one on our list yesterday, continues to get buying, It is officially broken out. You could draw tops over here. It broke out yesterday. If you wanted to just go right across here to 1998, and it has cleared that as well. So we continue on comfort systems. On a little bit of a pullback below its moving averages, is bouncing 5.83% today. We looked at DOYU. First Solar is bouncing again. A big sell-off here, but it is bouncing 6.63%. BTC-BOYU. Once again, we have some mix of bio stocks today. Keeps moving on up. LB Foster manufactures track work and steel sheet piling. Get a little bit of a bounce up close to 9%. Radius Recycling. Tried to move up and then pull back. Spire Therapeutics. Had a big sell-off here, got a little bit of a bounce over 5%. And here we go with Tesla. Tesla continuing its move. I believe some people feel it's going to come up to 265 and then maybe get turned away. We do have a lot of overhead resistance. I've been pushing on the wrong key. Not sure why. There we go. 265. And it's kind of cleared all of this here. We put it on at 180. And it's going up there, but just keep on bouncing. So that is it with Tesla. And finally, Zoma. Zoma's got a big bounce. Antibodies, recombinant proteins. So as we can see, we got a number of biotechs again. Pretty interesting that the biotech indexes aren't showing more of an improvement. We're going to just pause for a moment again. So this is the ETF that we showed earlier this week as ETF of the week. Continues to get buying. And I think we're continuing to get rotation out of some of the tech issues into commodities. So this was coal. Our ETF of today was AIQ. Kind of broke out over here. Nice strong move. We can see that. Our IPO of the day was ARM. Kind of broke out into the pivot again. We'll see if it actually can clear the pivot this time. And then VRT was our stock of the day. See VRT, if it'll come on up here. Got up to the 50-day moving average. Got some average volume there. And so that's what we're looking at there. Now we'll bought some more NVIDIA today. So we're back at our original holdings. Got a strong bounce off the 20-day moving average, cleared the 10-day moving average, up 4.21%. Kind of go over here, share what's happening with Bitcoin, continues to get selling into strength. As you can see, this is the last 5 days. Over the weekend, it had this strong move, pull back. It actually looks like a double top, and it just has been continuing downward trend. Mount Gox, Japan, that failed crypto exchange, is having to repay all of its 120, I think it's 127,000 creditors. And the US government is selling some Bitcoin as well. And then Germany from some criminal enterprises. So that's kind of what's happening with Bitcoin right now. Go back to our charts. Take a look at a couple of items that we recently added. Datadog, we think possibly could pull back a little bit, maybe develop a handle before it breaks out. There's Datadog, pulled back a little bit today off 11 cents, nothing to worry about at the moment. App got some continued buying today as it kind of jumped up a little bit, up 3.8%. Kava Mediterranean Grill, just up 1%, just holding. Got some really, looks like we got 3 days really tight in a row. 2 days in a row, it bounced off of the 10-day moving average. So that is how that is doing. Dutch Brothers Coffee pulled back to the 10-day moving average and bounced. So we got at least 1 week tight here. We just draw the line right across there, so that's pretty tight action. Good. Elf Beauty pulling back to the 20-day moving average, right around 200. Apollo Global Management, pretty tight action right in here as it's in the pivot area. We got it at 116.98. Weatherford still looks pretty good. Working on this cup with a handle. We'll see if it develops a handle and pulls back a little bit before it jumps up into the pivot. So we'll just continue to watch that. ARM, I believe we looked at that as it pulled. That was our IPO. Forgot to look at this one that has just been amazing. Some of the money flows back into software. Samsara bought this at 29. See when this pulls up, the internet has been kept dropping today. And here we go. Got this at 29 and just look at that move. Pretty strong move up. See if it pauses here, pulls back. Possibly going up to there. Target is like around 43. Just kind of look under the covers of the S&P. still look good with financials, kind of oscillating back and forth here. Energy, still kind of working on a base. Not sure if that's going to pop out or not. Oil prices did rebound today, didn't do a lot for energy. Communications. Got Google in here, continues to be strong. It's Meta. Had fallen off earlier this morning, just a tiny bit, and it's trading pretty tight right here. Today's tight. Here's another one you could add to your portfolio for double the pleasure with if Meta is able to break out. So Y continues to perform pretty well. Consumer sector, Amazon kind of leading this. They're down a little bit today. Abercrombie and Fitch is in this one as well. We'll see if all the ones that I was kind of looking at are pulling back today. So I'm not sure what is moving XLY, but it is continuing to perform well. Internet Intercontinental Exchange is up today. Just take a look at HUD. Seems to be doing well in the Bitcoin miners. Broke out over at 12.15 and this continues to shine, keeps going on up. Earlier this year, I think it was down at 2. Infrastructure got a little bit of a bounce. Biotech. It's amazing with all the biotech companies just surging that neither of these are bouncing at all. So this is transportation, got a little bit of a bounce today. IGV in our software continues moving on up 0.13%. Here's a double bottom cleared at 85.32. So this has been the best sector, XLK, the only one kind of beating the S&P 500. So if you were in this one, you would be very happy. Just kind of been surging, pull back to the 50-day moving average, continues higher, pull back to the 20, and now it looks like it's ready to break out again. Take a look at semiconductor. So here's the semiconductor. In some ways, it resembles NVIDIA. NVIDIA has a big component in it. Pull back to the 20-day moving average, and it is bouncing right now. And that is our show for this Wednesday. This has been Mornings with Michael for information, educational purposes only. We'll just see if we can pull one more up here while we're waiting for show to end. Bang you. I spelled it wrong, I guess. So, go out there, have a safe 4th of July, celebrate our independence, continue working on your goals and your activities. And if you have any financial goals or activities, feel free to reach out to us. You can see that we got a surging, and FANG just continues to shine up another close to 5% today. Everybody go out there and have a great day, great weekend, and we'll catch you back here on Friday.